Have you ever wondered how one small vehicle became one of the greatest military legends ever built? It wasn't a tank, it wasn't an armored monster, and it certainly wasn't designed to impress anyone. Yet, millions of soldiers trusted their lives to it. It crossed deserts, climbed mountains, drove through rivers, and somehow it always kept moving. Today we simply call it the Willys Jeep. But its story is far more incredible than most people realize. Because this legendary machine almost never existed. Its journey didn't begin on a battlefield. It began with a deadline that everyone believed was impossible. In the late 1930s, the United States Army faced a serious problem. Its military vehicles were becoming outdated. Heavy trucks struggled on rough terrain. Motorcycles became useless in deep mud. The Army needed something completely different, a lightweight vehicle, fast enough to move troops, strong enough to carry equipment, reliable enough to survive almost anywhere, and simple enough to repair in the middle of nowhere. The requirements sounded impossible. Then, in the summer of 1940, the U.S. Army announced one of the most demanding engineering competitions in history. Car manufacturers had only 49 days to design and build an entirely new military vehicle. 49 days. Most companies laughed. Some refused immediately. Others didn't even try. They believed no engineer could design, build, and test a completely new automobile in such a short time. But one small company accepted the challenge: American Bantam. Compared to giants like Ford, Bantam was tiny. Few people expected them to succeed. Yet, their engineers worked day and night, sleeping inside the factory, living beside the drawing boards. Every hour mattered. Every mistake could destroy the project. Against all expectations, they finished the prototype, on time. Army officers immediately began testing it. The results surprised everyone. The little vehicle climbed hills with ease, crossed rough terrain, handled deep mud, and remained remarkably easy to drive. For the first time, the Army realized that the idea might actually work. But there was another problem. Bantam simply couldn't build enough vehicles. America wasn't preparing for a small conflict. It was preparing for war. The military would need not hundreds, but hundreds of thousands. So the Army invited two much larger companies to improve Bantam's original design: Ford and Willys Overland. Each company received the prototype. Each added its own improvements. Each hoped to win the military contract. Months of testing followed. Vehicles were pushed through mud, sand, rocky hills, broken roads. They were overloaded, driven at full speed, and deliberately abused. The Army wasn't looking for comfort. It wanted survival. When the testing finally ended, one version stood above the rest. The Willys prototype delivered more power, a stronger engine, better durability, and incredible off-road capability. It became the winner. Soon, factories across America began working around the clock. The little vehicle officially entered production. Nobody knew it yet, but this simple machine was about to become one of the most important vehicles of the entire Second World War. As production began, the Jeep quickly proved itself. At first, soldiers doubted it. It looked too small, too simple, but everything changed the moment they drove it. Where heavy trucks got stuck, the Jeep kept moving. Where motorcycles failed, the Jeep climbed. It carried troops, delivered ammunition, towed artillery, evacuated wounded soldiers, and transported commanders. Its greatest strength wasn't speed or power, it was reliability. The engine was simple, repairs were quick. Even damaged Jeeps often returned to service within hours. That reliability saved countless lives. General Dwight D. Eisenhower later called the Jeep one of the most important vehicles of World War II. By the end of the war, more than 640,000 Willys and Ford Jeeps had been built. When peace returned, most military vehicles disappeared. The Jeep didn't. Returning soldiers wanted one for themselves. In 1945, Willys introduced the CJ-2A, the first civilian Jeep. Farmers loved it. Builders depended on it. People bought it because it could do jobs no other vehicle could. Soon, the Jeep inspired legendary off-road vehicles like the Land Rover, Toyota Land Cruiser, and Ford Bronco. Even today, its influence can still be seen in modern SUVs around the world. Original Willys Jeeps have become valuable collector's vehicles. Some sell for more than $100,000. Not because they're luxurious, but because they represent freedom, reliability, and one of the greatest engineering success stories ever created. Sometimes, history isn't changed by the biggest machine. Sometimes, it's changed by the one that simply refuses to quit.